Nams.
No problem. Very happy to see you. First time, Madhupati Prabhu, you are there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Madhupati
Hare
Prabhu. My obeisance to
Hare
you.
Krishna, humble
So nice to
obeisances.
see you.
Our glories to you. Thank you very much for coming.
Oh, thank you for allowing me.
Yeah, thank you. Krishna Prabhu, we can officially introduce.
Prabhu, just before we begin, just to know the timing. So shall I speak for like 45 minutes, 50, and then Q&A? Or
1 hour and Q&A.
okay, sure.
Krishna Prabhu, you can go.
Swayam Bhagavan Keshava Maharaj, the disciple of His Holiness Kadam Maharaj, is an eloquent, excellent speaker in wide subject matters. You can read some of his compilations of the essence of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam has written condensed version of the instructions. Wonderful book. I forget the title. Maharaj has been speaking, especially in UK and London based, but is speaking widely, teaching for many years. Excellent record of sadhana. So that's why Maharaj, otherwise then it's difficult to get become a disciple of His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj. So we can see his etiquette and his standard, his preaching, his techniques, everything is excellent. So we are very, very fortunate to hear from him today.
Thank you so much, Krishna Namananda Prabhu. Thank you to Madhupati Prabhu and all the Vaishnavas. I'm really, really happy to be here with everyone. Whenever you come onto a Zoom call, you're not quite sure of all the devotees who are on the call. So I'm sure all of you are many, many more times more advanced than me and able to give beautiful realizations on Nityananda Prabhu. But I'm really appreciative to have the opportunity today. So yes, today we are discussing Nityananda Prabhu. Of course, we are preparing for Nityananda Trayodashi. It's that time of year when our hearts and minds are absorbed in Gora Katha. Advaita Acharya just appeared. Nityananda Prabhu will be appearing. And then it's all a preparation also for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And absorb ourselves in the Katha of Gauranga, Nityananda and their associates, because when we absorb ourselves in the Katha, then what happens is that when it comes to the festival day, then it becomes much of a deeper meditation. When we absorb ourselves in the Katha, then when we chant the names, then it becomes a much deeper meditation. And when we engage in Katha and then we do devotional service, it becomes a much deeper conscious activity that we're doing. And so hearing is so important. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was known to give very, very long lectures and train his disciples in the art of hearing. There was one military general, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told him that you have to sit down and hear Harikatha from the saintly persons. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was thinking how to explain it to him. So he said, just like the enemy comes in a helicopter and the helicopter comes flying over, and then the helicopter comes down, and then the helicopter lands in the enemy's territory. And then when that helicopter lands, then all of the doors open and all of the soldiers come out of the helicopter and they go in all directions and they take over the land. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, similarly, the vibration of Hari Katha is launched from the mouth of a sadhu. And that vibration, it hovers into the consciousness of the person. And if it then lands in the heart of that person, then that sound vibration, when it lands in the heart, all the different syllables come out and they go in all directions in the body, and they basically take over the consciousness of that person. And so in this way, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would stress so much that one must hear. He would say, I don't consider a bad day a cloudy day or a dark day, but I consider a day in which I didn't hear Hari Katha to be a bad day. So I'm not much of a sadhu and I don't have so many realizations, but between all of us, we will exchange this Hari Katha, this beautiful vibration, and hopefully all get some realizations from it. I'll just sing very, very short Jai Radha Madhav, just to invoke, because that is our standard as given by Srila Prabhupada. And then we'll do Mangalacharan and then proceed with a short discussion. And I invite all of you after the discussion to please share your realizations and any questions or comments you may have. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamunatira Vanachari, Yamunatira Vanachari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Radha Madhava ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Mama Jnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Slapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada once said, spiritual life in Kali Yuga, very difficult proposal. In this day and age, there are so many distractions, there are so many temptations. In this day and age, we're faced with our weakness every single day. You can have a wonderful morning program, but then straight after, the weakness comes. You can have an incredible yatra in Vrindavan for Kartik, but the moment you come back home, the weakness comes. You can chant one great round, but in the next round, the mind begins to attack and the weakness comes again. So constantly we're being attacked. Our determination is being challenged. Our taste is being questioned. And how much are we able to stay on the path of Krishna consciousness? How much are we able to really progress towards the goal of Krishna Prem? Sometimes even we can lose determination. We can lose hope. We can lose the faith that, will I really be able to make it? It sounds good. I would love to, but I don't know. My track record is not so good. But then one factor comes in which changes everything. One factor comes in which means even when we're feeling very low, we pick ourselves up again. One factor comes in which gives us the strength to continue. And that factor is mercy. Because mercy can make it up. There's a gap between the ideal and the reality of where we are. And if we make the endeavor, although our endeavor won't be strong enough, there is the factor of mercy that is attracted. And that mercy can make up the distance. And therefore, in Kali Yuga, in the age where mercy is so much required, then the Lord comes in the most merciful incarnation. Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana Nitai Gaura Chandra Sabayavatar Sara Siromani Kevalaya Nandakanda. Lochandas Thakur says, yes, Parama Karuna, Pahudui Jana, these two individuals, they are the most merciful. Sabayavatar, of all the incarnations, Sara Siromani, they are the crest jewel. Kevala Ananda Kanda, because they've given a process which is simply joyful, a process which is so easily performed, and a process which attracts the greatest mercy. And so mercy is our hope. Karuna avatar is a very interesting term because Karuna means mercy, but there are many, many words for mercy. One word is Karuna, another word for mercy is Kripa. So sometimes the teachers have questioned what is the difference in meaning between these words. Because in Sanskrit, there can be many words for the same thing because they subtly mean something different. Did you know in Sanskrit? In English, we have one word, love. In Sanskrit, there are 96 words for love. Depending on who you're loving, how intensely you're loving, what the mellow of that love is and the expression, there's a different word for love. In English, we have one word, water. But in Sanskrit, there are over 70 words for water, depending on the context. We have one word, friend. But in Sanskrit, you have bandhu, mitra, sakha, vatsal. You have so many words for friend, each meaning a different thing. So when it comes to mercy, there are different words. Two words for mercy are karuna and kripa. So kripa means mercy that you have to ask for, isn't it? Gurudev kripa bindu diya, koroe dase trinapeka atehina. We're praying, Gurudev, please give me just one drop of mercy so that I can become more humble than a blade of grass. So kripa is a type of mercy that you have to ask for. But the acharyas, they say karuna is a type of mercy that even if you don't ask for it, it comes to you. Isn't it? Like sometimes you go to Mayapur during rainy season. Normally in Mayapur, if you want to go and get the mercy of Ganga, then you have to walk out, you have to go across the road, you have to go to Prabhupada Ghat, and then you can bathe in Ganga. But when the monsoon comes and the Ganga is overflowing, then even if you're so spaced out that you're in your room and you can't get out of bed, the Ganga comes into your building because it's flooding. And therefore the Ganga comes to you, mercy that you didn't even ask for. So Gora and Nityananda are Karuna avatar. They have come to give mercy even to the unqualified, even though to those who are not seeking it sincerely. So Nityananda Prabhu is said to be even more merciful than Gauranga. We are now developing our meditation on Nityananda Prabhu. I think in America it will be the same. In UK, here in London, Friday will be Nityananda Trayodashi. So we're all really deeply thinking about Nityananda Prabhu. I like what Jayapataka Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj once said. One devotee put his hand up in a class and he said, Maharaj, how can we get the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu? And Maharaj looked back at him and he said, how can you avoid the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu? That's the question Nityananda Prabhu is giving. Nadia, Nadia Godrume Nityananda Mahajan. Pati achinam hate jivera karan. He has opened the marketplace. And what is he saying? Shraddhavan janahe, Shraddhavan janahe, all the people of faith. You don't need anything. Just come. If you have a little bit of faith, you can purchase the holy name. So Nityananda Prabhu is so kind. Nityananda Prabhu is giving mercy. Nityananda Prabhu is giving us great hope. We can live for some days without water. We can live for some days without food. We can live for some days without sleep. But we can't live without hope. Our spiritual life is alive as long as we have hope. And therefore the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu is the hope. The mercy of Gauranga and Nityananda is the hope. There's no way we can reach Radha and Krishna unless we go through Gauranga and Nityananda. Prabodhananda Saraswati says, only when you jump into the oceanic pastimes of Gaura and Nityananda, Yatha Yatha Gaura Padara Vinde, only when you jump into the ocean of Gaura Leela and you go to the depths, then you will emerge out of the ocean of Gaura Leela and you will find yourselves on the banks of Raj. So in this age, if we try to enter Vrindavan, if we try to enter into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, but we don't have a deep connection, we don't have a deep appreciation, we don't have a fascination with Gauranga and Nityananda, then it will be very, very difficult. And our acharyas are teaching us that unless you get Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, you can't get Gauranga's mercy. So to get to Vrindavan, to get to Radha and Krishna, you need Gauranga's mercy. But you can't get Gauranga's mercy if you don't get Nityananda's mercy. Therefore, it's so important for us to deeply reflect on the lifetimes and the teachings from the life of Nityananda Prabhu. So today, we are looking at Nityananda Prabhu's life. And specifically, we're looking at the period of Nityananda Prabhu's life after he began a pilgrimage. And that was at a very young age, at the age of 13. Nityananda Prabhu was at home. He was a beautiful child. He was effulgent. He was beautiful. As I'm sure you've heard in previous talks, he was enacting the pastimes of Krishna. He was enacting the pastimes of Ram. And at home in Ekachakra Gram, beautiful, beautiful place, many of you will have been. There Nityananda Prabhu was performing all of his pastimes, just like a cowherd boy with all of his friends. But then on that fateful day when he was 13 years old, a sannyasi came. Some people say it was Lakshmipati Tirtha, others say it was someone else. Whichever it may be, the mendicant came. And Hadai Pandit, who was Nityananda Prabhu's father, he was so pious, he was so spiritually in tune that he realized when a sadhu comes, you have to receive them. And when a sadhu comes, you have to give them whatever they ask. So after serving the sadhu, Hadai Pandit, naturally, as any great devotee would do, looked at the sadhu and said, now you please ask me, what can I do for you as seva? Anything you like, I will give. And lo and behold, the sadhu asked the one thing that Hadai Pandit was dreading, the one thing that would become unbearable to him, the one thing that would eventually lead to him leaving his own body. And what was the one thing that the sadhu asked from him? I don't want your money. I don't want your time. I don't want any of your possessions. All I want is your son. Ask a parent for their son. Oh, very, very difficult. So naturally, Hadai Pandit was so spiritually attached to his son, Nityananda Prabhu. But how could he now say no? So the sadhu took Nityananda Prabhu at the age of 13. And the sadhu took him on pilgrimage to many, many places. Yeah, see, everyone must go on pilgrimage. The Lord teaches by his own pastime. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went on pilgrimage to South India, isn't he? Went to all the holy places. Even Balaram went on pilgrimage after Balaram killed Romaharshan Sutta. And then later on, he killed the demon Balval. Then later on, the sages told him, we think maybe Balaram, you should go on pilgrimage to sanctify yourself. So Balaram went on pilgrimage. Even Vidura went on pilgrimage. Because when Vidura left the palace of Hastinapur, then he was thinking, how can I go direct to Krishna? First, I have to go on pilgrimage and I have to purify myself. So everyone is always thinking, I must go on yatra to purify myself, to purify my consciousness. So we go to pilgrimage for purification. We go on pilgrimage to make a connection, a deeper connection with Krishna, because the pilgrimage places are known as tirtha. Tirtha is a very interesting word. It means a gateway or a portal. Tirtha means a bridge. So a tirtha or holy place, although in the material world, is like a bridge to the spiritual world. So when you go to a tirtha, even though you're in the material world, you begin to get an experience of the spiritual world. And tirthas are ultimately the places where you meet the sadhus. Because Bhagavatam says, Ya tirtha buddhi shalileina karhichij janeshva bhigyeshu sa eva gokara. If you go to a place of pilgrimage, but you don't listen to the sadhus, you don't meet the saintly people there, then actually you've missed the point. So this sadhu, he took Nityananda Prabhu and they went to all the holy places of pilgrimage. They went south, they went in the north, they went to many, many different places. They went to Pandharpur. And later on in the pilgrimage, just as we were mentioning, pilgrimage means to meet the saintly people. It's said that on pilgrimage, Nityananda Prabhu met Lakshmipati Tirtha. Most people agree that they met Lakshmipati Tirtha later on the pilgrimage. Lakshmipati Tirtha was an incredible person because he had already initiated one very, very amazing, eminent personality who is all so special in the Gaudiya Sampradaya. And who was that personality? Madhavendra Puri. Lakshmipati Tirtha had already initiated Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri was in, he was absorbed. Ai dina dayadranathe. He was chanting this in great separation, remembering Krishna, the Mathura Nath, the Lord of Vrindavan. And so, when Nityananda Prabhu came to meet Lakshmipati Tirtha, he also surrendered to Lakshmipati Tirtha and took initiation from him. And some say that that's the time when Nityananda Prabhu received the name Svarup. So therefore, many of the biographers of Gauranga, when they refer to Nityananda, often they refer to him as Nityananda Svarup, because some say that he received that name from Lakshmipati Tirtha. So now Nityananda Prabhu and Madhavendra Puri were god brothers. They were both intoxicated with prema. But Nityananda Prabhu, he continued traveling. And all of this time, he had not come in contact with Gauranga, because Nityananda Prabhu appeared in the world before Gauranga. And in his childhood, Chaitanya or Nimai of Nadia, he was not enacting his Sankirtan pastimes. He was Nimai Pandit. So Nityananda Prabhu did not want to meet with Gauranga until Gauranga began his Sankirtan pastime. So all of this time, Nityananda was traveling, but he had not come in contact with Gauranga yet. So as they traveled and traveled with the sadhu Nityananda, this went on for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. 20 years Nityananda traveled with this sadhu. And finally, after 20 years, they arrived in Sri Vrindavan Dham. You see, the culmination of everything is to arrive in Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is our home. Vrindavan is the place of madhurya, sweetness. Vrindavan is said is to be the source of all dhams. Just like we say, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, that Krishna is the source of all incarnations. We say Vrindavan is the source of all dhams. And all dhams are situated within Vrindavan. So the culmination of the whole pilgrimage was that Nityananda and the sadhu, they both arrived in Vrindavan. When they arrived in Vrindavan, Nityananda's ecstasy just went to another level, because here he was seeing, oh, these are all the places where Krishna performed his different pastimes. And so Nityananda arrived there in Vrindavan. So this was the kind of one of the major periods of Nityananda Prabhu's life, this going on pilgrimage with this sadhu. And Nityananda Prabhu, as I mentioned, gives us this lesson in our life, that we should always take time to go on pilgrimage. Because when you go to these places, then you get mercy. When you go to these places, then you build a deeper relationship with all the personalities of these places. I remember once we went to Bangladesh with His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, and we went to a place called Sylhet. It was very remote, and then we went to one place where Advaita Acharya appeared in the world. So it was very difficult to get to this place. Anyway, somehow we got there. And then we learned and we heard all of the pastimes of Advaita. And then 2 days later, we arrived in Mayapur. And I was in front of Panchatattva. And I was praying, to Advaita Acharya. We had just been to his appearance place. And as I was praying to Advaita Acharya, Kadambakana Swami walked behind me and he just whispered in my ear. He said, now when you look at Advaita, it's a different experience, isn't it? And in that moment, I realized, yes, when you go on pilgrimage, when you make the effort, when you take the arduous journey then you develop a deeper relationship with Krishna, with the avatars, with the sadhus, the saints, the acharyas. So we must take that time to try and go on pilgrimage. So Nityananda Prabhu teaches us this very, very beautiful process of Tirtha Yatra. So Nityananda Prabhu in like this was in Vrindavan. Today you can go to Shringar Vat or Nityananda Vat, and it said that would be the sitting place of Nityananda. And underneath that tree, Nityananda would be calling Krishna's names and absorbed. Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balokana Goro Ami Boro Dukhi. He was completely immersed in Premananda Sukhi, the happiness of pure love for Krishna. And therefore we are praying to Nityananda, Kripa Balokana Goro, please give me your mercy, Nityananda. Ami Boro Dukhi. I don't, you are Sukhi, but I am Dukhi. So you please give me your mercy. Now, while Nityananda was in Vrindavan, something incredible happened. Nityananda Prabhu got some news. And what was the news that he received? There's some amazing news. There's some amazing news. Has everyone heard? What's the news? The news is that Nimai of Nadia, Nimai Pandit, the greatest scholar, the one who could defeat anyone by logic, argument, nyaya, the one who had opened his own school, the one who had perfected all the Shastra, the one who was the greatest scholar who defeated the Digvijay Pandit, that Nimai, he's given up all of his scholarship. He's given up all of his knowledge. He's given up all of his mental, speculative, philosophical gymnastics. And that Nimai of Nadia, he's become a devotee. And not only has he become a devotee, he's become an intoxicated devotee who can't stop chanting the holy name of Krishna. And what's more, he's become a devotee after coming back from Gaya and being initiated by Ishvara Puri. And what he was now doing in Nadia is he's opening the Sankirtan of the holy name, and he's inviting everyone to take part. Nimai of Nadia had become a great devotee. He had been given the mantra from Ishvara Puri, and after receiving the mantra from Ishvara Puri, he went back to his spiritual master. Kiba mantra dila gosai, kiba tarabal, japite mantra, korite pagal. He looked at his spiritual master and he said, Kiba mantra dila gosai. What kind of mantra have you given me, oh Gosai? Japite mantra. I'm chanting that mantra again and again. Korite pagal. And I'm becoming completely mad. Nimai came back. He wanted to go to Vrindavan after his initiation in Gaya, but a voice from the sky came. He said, no, Nimai, you are the supreme person. You have a job. You have to go to Nadia and you have to open the Sankirtan. So Nimai came back. God had to be reminded, you're God and you have a job to do. So he came back to Nadia, to Mayapur. Now, what's interesting is that Nimai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, had always lived in Mayapur. Advaita Acharya, he had a house in Shantipur, and he also had a house in Mayapur as well. If you go to Srivasangan, then just opposite from there is Advaita Acharya's Bhavan. Gadada Pandit was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's schoolmate. They grew up together. So Gadada Pandit was also already there in Mayapur. And Srivas Thakur, he was already doing the Sankirtan in his home in Mayapur. So all four of them were already in Mayapur. But the only person that was missing was Nityananda. Therefore, the explosion of Harinam could not take place until 5 of them came together. And therefore, Nityananda Prabhu decided to come. Nityananda Prabhu decided now is the time to go to Mayapur and join forces with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and let us now share this holy name with everyone. And so Nityananda Prabhu came. He came to Mayapur. But when he came to Mayapur, he came in a concealed way. And therefore, Nityananda, when he entered into Mayapur, he began to stay at the home of Nandanacharya. If today you come out of the main gate of Mayapur, Sridham Mayapur ISKCON, and you go left, and as you walk down about 100 meters down the road is Nandanacharya Bhavan. And this is the place where Nityananda was staying, concealed. So as Nityananda Prabhu came to Nandanacharya's home, then Mahaprabhu, he sensed it because they're connected. So Mahaprabhu said, no, he's come. Nityananda has come. So who did he send? He sent Srivas Thakur, and he sent Haridas Thakur. He said, Haridas and Srivas, you go and you find Nityananda and you bring him back. I want to meet him. So Nityananda and Haridas went place to place, home to home, market to market, every single corner. They came back after some hours and they said, Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Dev, Gauranga, he is, we can't find him anywhere. We can't find him anywhere. Dear devotees, this is a very, very deep lesson. Who is Srivas Pandit? Narad Muni. And who is Haridas Thakur? Brahmaji. Who can know the entire universe better than Narad Muni and Brahma? Brahma created the whole universe, and Narad has traveled to every single corner of the universe. But if those two personalities could not find Nityananda, that means there's a very deep lesson, because Nityananda represents the Guru. And we cannot force the Guru into our life. It's not by our own endeavors that the Guru will come. No, the Guru appears by his causeless mercy. And then the Guru Krishna, Prasade Pai, Bhakti Lata Beach. The Guru gives the seed of Bhakti. So Haridas and Srivas, they came back. They said, Gauranga, we can't find him anywhere. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, he is there. I will take you. And then all of them walked together. And then they went to Nandanacharya Bhavan. You can go to that place today. It's very, very beautiful temple. Very, very powerful energy. And it's said that Gauranga entered that place. And when Gauranga and Nityananda saw each other for the first time, then they just came together. They were crying, they were weeping, they were dancing, they were ecstatic, and they just embraced. They just embraced in pure love, ecstatic love. And they fainted on the ground, rolling in ecstasy. And this is how Nityananda and Gauranga came together. So if you have not been to that place, please go to that place and just spend 1, 2, 3, 4 hours meditating on how this is the place where Gauranga and Nityananda came together. So like this, now the Panchatattva had come together. Now the last piece of the Panchatattva made up the puzzle. Nityananda was there. So now the explosion in Mayapur just went to the next level. Kaviraj Goswami says in a beautiful verse, Say pancha tattva mili prithivi ashiya, purva prema bandharera mudra ugadiya, pacha mili lute prem kare ashvadan, jata jata piya trishne bade anukshan. He says, say pancha tattva mili prithivi ashiya. When these 5 personalities, prithivi, came together, prithivi mile, when they came together, they met together on this earth planet. Then what happened? Pancha mili lute prem, kore ashvadhan. They just broke open the storehouse of love of Godhead. Lute prema dhan. They just broke it open, plundered it. And then what did they do? Ashvadhan. They began tasting it. And then what did they do? Patra patra vichar nahi stan stan. Je jane paye tone kore prema dhan. Once they had tasted it, they did not hesitate. Patra, apatra, vichar nahi. They didn't make any consideration. This is a good place. This is a bad place. This is a good person. This is a bad person. Je jone paye tone. Wherever they went, kore prema dhan. They just gave the wealth of love. So basically, everyone in Mayapur became inundated. Kaviraj Goswami says, Ucha Leela Prema Vanya Chaude Ka Vedoy, Shri Vridha Balak Juva Sabare Udoy. He says, Ucha Leela Prema Vanya, there was a wave of prema in Mayapur. Chaude Ka Vedoy, and it went in all the four directions. Stri, the women, Vridha, the old people, Balak, the young people, Yuva, the youth, Sabare Duboy, everyone drowned. Everyone drowned in prema. So this was the amazing pastimes of the Panchatattva. But when Nityananda and Gauranga met, then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to establish that Nityananda is the Adi Guru, the original Guru, and he wanted to establish his position. So what did Mahaprabhu do? He told Nityananda, let's go to Srivasangan. And there in Srivasangan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I will do the Vyasa Puja of the Adi Guru. I will do the Vyasa Puja of Nityananda. And so Mahaprabhu, he got all the instruments of Vyasa Puja together and he prepared for the Vyasa Puja of Nityananda. But what happened when he tried to do the puja? Nityananda Prabhu said, no, don't cheat me. Don't trick me. Don't put me on the platform. Don't treat me as though I am your superior. You are the Supreme Lord. You are the Chana Avatar. You are the one who has come to deliver the whole world. You are the Kali Yuga Pavana. Therefore, we should worship you. And Nityananda Prabhu forcibly began to worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is spiritual life. Every devotee is worshipping every other devotee. Advaita Acharya, he did not want to be honored by Mahaprabhu. He was much older. He was 50 years older than Mahaprabhu. He had called Mahaprabhu to come. But he didn't want to be honored because he knew Mahaprabhu, but Mahaprabhu would always offer respects to him. So one day he thought, Advaita, I have to do something where Mahaprabhu will chastise me. So what he decided to do, the one sure way to get Mahaprabhu angry, the one sure way to get a Gaudiya Vaishnava angry, the one sure way to make a scene is to start talking Mayavad philosophy. So Advaita in Shantipur, where he was giving his lectures every day, he started speaking Yoga Vasistha, Mayavad philosophy. And then the word spread like wildfire. Advaita, he's speaking Mayavad, he's an impersonalist. The news reached Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu jumped into the Ganga. He swam downstream. He came to Shantipur. He came rushing in to Advaita Bhavan, where Advaita Acharya was lecturing. He came right up to Advaita and he said, tell me conclusively, which is higher, Gyan or Bhakti? Without one flinch of an eyelid, Advaita looked back at Gauranga and said, Gyan. And then Mahaprabhu became so angry, he pulled Advaita Acharya off the Vyasasan, he threw him onto the floor and he started beating him. This scene is amazing because everyone has different emotions. Gauranga is like in transcendental anger. Advaita, he's being beaten up. He's in complete ecstasy. Sita Devi, Advaita Acharya's wife, she is standing behind and she is completely emotional. She says, you're going to kill him. You're going to kill him. Behind her, Nityananda is there and he's dancing. He's just enjoying the whole scene. And behind Nityananda is Haridas Thakur and he's just chanting his rounds. So it's a very nice scene because it shows how in spiritual life there's so much individuality, there's so many personalities, and they all express their Krishna consciousness in different ways. But Advaita Acharya, in this way, he became subordinate to Mahaprabhu. So Nityananda, he wanted to do the same thing. He wanted to be subordinate to the Supreme Lord. And so Nityananda worshipped him. So the best disciple becomes the best guru. The best guru is also the best disciple. You see, the guru never thinks, I am the one, I am doing it. The best guru is the best disciple. Therefore, even Vyasadeva, he wrote so many things. He was the best guru, but he also became the best disciple. Because after doing all those accomplishments as a guru, what did he do? He sat in front of Narad and he said, actually, I think I've missed the essence. And then Narad told him, Sarve Vedanta Sadam hi Srimad Bhagavatam Ishyate. Yes, because you have not glorified the Supreme Lord. You have to write Bhagavatam. You have to glorify the Supreme Lord. Like this, Vyasadeva, because he was the best disciple, he became the best guru. Because he was able to take instruction from Narada, then he presented the best to the world. So Nityananda Prabhu, although the Adi Guru, although the Guru of all Gurus, he worshipped the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as his Guru. And in this way, there was a loving competition between them. These are all the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Nityananda Prabhu. Let us end today's talk with a deep meditation. Nityananda Prabhu represents the Guru Tattva, the Adi Guru. If we look at the pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu, he is always guiding the devotees to where they can find prema. Nityananda Prabhu came in a dream and he told Narottam Das Thakur that when you wake up tomorrow, I want you to go to the Padma River. And in the Padma River, I want you to dive in because the Lord, the Supreme Lord, Gauranga, has stored prema in a liquid form. And it's stored there in the Padma River. And when you bathe in there, you will become infused with that prema. And so the very next morning, Narottam went to the Padma River and he jumped into the Padma. And as he jumped in, the Padma began overflowing. Narottam became golden. And in this way, he was infused with Gaura Prem. How? Because Nityananda Prabhu guided him to the Padma River. One year we went there on the pilgrimage to Bangladesh, and we all went in a boat to Prema Tali. This is the place where Narottam jumped in, received prema. So all of us decided, let's jump in. Maybe it will happen. Maybe one of us will get it because it's stored there. So we all jumped in. A few of us nearly drowned. We weren't drowning in prema, unfortunately. We were just drowning because we couldn't swim properly. But I'm sure we still got some mercy. So Nityananda Prabhu, he guided Narottam to the Padma. And there he received prema. There he received his life's mission. Nityananda guided Krishnadas Kaviraj, isn't it? Because that devotee came, Miniketana Ram, and he was offended in the home of Krishnadas. And that night, Krishnadas felt so bad that a Vaishnava has been offended in my home. But what happened that night? Nityananda came in his dream. Are Krishnadas, na kara bhai, Vrindavana yaha taha, sarvalabhyahai. Are Krishna Das, oh my dear Krishna Das, na karaha bhai. Why are you worrying? Don't worry about anything. When you wake up tomorrow, Vrindavana yahataha. Just go to Vrindavan. Sarva labhyahai, and in Vrindavan you'll get everything. So Krishna Das, he woke up. Well, what to do? Nityananda's telling me I have to go to Vrindavan. So he went to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami took up residence in Radha Kund. Just see, because he followed Nityananda Prabhu, because he followed the Guru, he received residence in the topmost place in the universe, Radha Kund. He received the topmost association, the association of Raghunath Das Goswami. He achieved the topmost service to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when Nityananda Prabhu told him, Sarva labhyahai, you'll get everything, just go. Because he followed the Guru, then he received. And then Nityananda Prabhu, he also gave the mercy to Raghunath Das Goswami. Because Raghunath Das Goswami was trying to escape. Every single day he was running away from home, but then his parents would catch him back. His mother said to his father, why don't you tie him up with chains? This boy, he's running away. The father looked at the mother and said, are you mad? He's got more opulence than Indra. His wife is more beautiful than the Apsaras. And even that cannot bind him to family life. What will chains do? Raghunath Das was determined, but somehow or other it was not working. But then what happened? Raghunath Das went to Panihati. And who was in Panihati? Nityananda. And Nityananda put his foot, he put his foot on top of Raghunath Das. And finally, Raghunath Das got the mercy of Nityananda, and then he was able to go to Puri, and then for the rest of his life, he was able to stay with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu is the Adi Guru, the original Guru. As we come to Nityananda Trayodashi, then we're remembering Nityananda is giving the mercy. The representative of Nityananda in the world we're living in today is the Guru. And the Guru is the representative who can give us that mercy, who can deliver us that mercy. If we're able to give our hearts and minds in faith to the Guru, then through that everything will come. They asked Srila Prabhupada once, what is the most important verse in Vedic literature? Different times Prabhupada said different things, but on one occasion Prabhupada said, Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyaite katita hyarta prakashante mahatmanaha. For one who has implicit faith in Krishna and the same faith in the Guru, yatha deve tatha guru. Just like you have in Krishna faith, similar implicit faith in Guru, then all the imports of Vedic literature are revealed. So, just like Nityananda guided Narottam to Prema Tali, where he received the gift of Prema, just as Nityananda guided Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to Vrindavan, and there Kaviraj Goswami received everything. Just as Nityananda guided Raghunath Das Goswami to take shelter of Mahaprabhu at Puri. And in the same way, if we follow the representatives of Nityananda, they can guide us, they can take us, they can awaken us to the eternal wealth of Krishna Prem. And that is the great opportunity. So on this day, when Nityananda Trayodashi comes, we're praying, let us become dedicated to serving the spiritual master who is the representative of Nityananda Prabhu. Let us pray that Nityananda Prabhu's spirit of giving mercy, Nityananda's spirit of being incredibly magnanimous and forgiving, Nityananda Prabhu's spirit of assisting in the preaching and the development of Mahaprabhu's movement, Nityananda's spirit of going to any place and taking any risk for sharing the name of Gauranga, that all of that spirit is absorbed within our own consciousness, so that we can become receivers of mercy. Because as we started talking today, we're very weak. On the basis of our own sadhana and our own practice, we will not make it. But if we get the mercy, then it's possible. But that mercy, we must become available. We must become open to receiving that mercy. And so we study the life and times of Nityananda Prabhu and meditate on these points. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So on Madhupati Prabhu's instruction, I spoke for 1 hour as he asked. And I don't know, maybe we have some time, Krishna Namananda Prabhu, we have some time for questions. If anyone would like to ask a question, or perhaps you have a comment or a reflection, I guess you can put your hand up, or you can
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. Swayam Bhagavan Keshava Maharaj. Wonderful narration. I was reflecting, just remembering Srila Prabhupada being asked, I think, someone came, businessman, and he was telling, I'm in great anxiety. Then Srila Prabhupada said, oh, that we can take care of that anxiety. Just give everything to me. I will take care of all your anxiety. No problem. Then he was very much shaken. Then he said, okay, give your address. He didn't want to give address.
Yeah.
So
he said to Srila Prabhupada, isn't it? He said, I have so many factories, I have so many workers, I have so many things, but I have so many anxieties.
Yes.
Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chintam aparimeyam cha pralayantam upashrita kamopa bhoga parama. If you have so many desires, then you will have so many anxieties. So yes, Prabhupada told him, give us the money. We'll be happy, Krishna will be happy, you'll be happy. But he was a little hesitant, I think. Thank you. Yes.
So Prabhupada also asked, send at least give one son, one of your son, but nobody wants to give in India for preaching. But here we see that Lord Nityananda Prabhu was being given finally. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, Amritam Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Maharaj. I especially like the helicopter analogy. Romapad Swami Maharaj has said before we sit for japa, just think about why we are doing it. It becomes more meaningful rather than just mechanically. So I think this analogy which you shared of Bhakti Siddhanta Swami, that's really going to help. Thank you. Thank you for that. Maharaj, my question is, we have so many personalities in the parampara. Today we spoke about Nityananda Prabhu. Then, everyone is talking about mercy. There is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, mercy. And everyone is merciful. So it kind of becomes confusing, like how you have sometimes an Ishtadev. Who really should you be tapping into? Or serving or meditating on to receive that mercy? Is it Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya, your Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada? What's the procedure, if you could please help?
Wonderful question. Thank you so much. Well, all the Vaishnavas are merciful, isn't it? That is Vaishnav. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha. Every Vaishnava is an ocean of mercy. Krishna and all of his avatars are an ocean of mercy. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dina Bandhu Jagatpate. So you're right. All the Vaishnavas are merciful and all the avatars are merciful. And we are in need of mercy, so we go to all of them and we pray for mercy. So therefore we're praying to Tulasi for mercy, we're praying to Prabhupada for mercy, we're praying to Krishna for his mercy, Gauranga for his mercy. I would say two things on this point. The first thing is I would say spiritual life is very individual. All of us are having respect and honor and worship for all the different deities and devotees, but we can also have our favorites. We can have acharyas or forms of the Lord that we are specifically attracted to. Sometimes the pastimes of Nityananda or the pastimes of Haridas Thakur or the pastimes of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur or the pastimes of Krishna, something will be particularly attractive to you. And when a certain personality captures your imagination more, sometimes it's easier for you to pray to them because you have a much more heartfelt connection with them. And therefore we find different devotees are having their own connections. And I think there's room for that in spiritual life. It's not that, okay, now we're in front of the altar. I have to give 5 minutes to Krishna, 5 minutes of prayers to Gauranga, 5 minutes to Ram, and I have to make sure I divide. No, we on certain days we may pray to Ram. On certain days we may pray more to Krishna. So it's personal. It's according to relationship. Another thing I would say is you can pray to different forms and different devotees for different things. Because when we pray to Nishingadev, we're praying for mercy, but we're praying for a specific type of mercy, which is kill my ego, kill my anarthas, kill my, pride. But when we're praying to Nityananda, we may pray for something that, Nityananda, you please give me a heart of gold like you have. Nityananda, you please give me that freedom from anger. A Krodha Nitai, the Nitai who never gets angry, except sometimes, but transcendentally angry. So like that, Amritananda Prabhu, we can pray to different deities according to personal taste. We can pray to them for different things. And we should know that when we're praying to one form of the Lord, we're also praying to the other forms of the Lord because they are not separate. They are the same tattva, although they are having different identities. So Srila Prabhupada gave us the wealth, so much spiritual wealth. So, it's like you can say like, well, I like for me, like if you serve me dal and rice every day, dal and chapatis every day, I'll be happy. I like dal and chapati, especially if it's hot chapatis, Gujarati chapatis, I'll be happy. But tomorrow, if someone brings some other items, we'll also honor that. We'll also be happy. Tomorrow, if someone brings a feast, so many items, so we relish them, but we can also get everything from one item, but we relish many different. So it's like that. Some thoughts, Prabhu. I hope that helps.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jagadish Prabhu. Good.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. My humble
Hare
obeisances to you.
My
Maharaj, I have
pranams to
one
you.
question. All gurus to Prabhupada, all gurus to you. Maharaj, my question is related to, you say that the mercy, right? When we say Nityananda Prabhu give the mercy to Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj through the instructions. So in the similar way, like Prabhupada also got instruction from his Guru Maharaj, this is all the mercy. But how to receive being a devotee, see that mercy coming from, or how to recognize that mercy, how we are receiving the mercy is growing, or like how to recognize that the mercy is coming to you, or how to take care of that?
Yeah, this is such a good point, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Because often the mercy is coming, but because we have a stereotyped idea, we're praying for one thing, it's not coming, but we're thinking the mercy is not coming. But Krishna is answering our prayers, but in a different way. He's sending the mercy. One Christian person, he says, I prayed for strength. And God, you just kept sending me problems. I prayed for love. And God, you just kept sending me people who needed help. God, I prayed to you for patience. And you kept sending me critical people. Then he said, God, you gave me everything I needed, but nothing that I wanted. If you want love, you have to serve people. Yeah, if you want to become patient, you have to learn to tolerate people's criticism. If you want to become wise, you have to solve problems if you want strength. So Krishna sends his mercy. We're not able to see it because we're thinking, oh no, I prayed for this, but Krishna is giving this. But no, maybe Krishna has some master plan. See, Krishna is like a chess player. Good chess players, they are 3 moves ahead. They can calculate. Krishna is like 10, 15 moves ahead. We can't understand how he's moving all the pieces. So Krishna gives his mercy. And so but your question is, how do we recognize that mercy? Therefore, sadhu sangha, the sadhus help us to translate Krishna's activities in our life. And therefore we see through the sadhus. And the sadhus say, hey, relax. Krishna is helping you. Look at it from this perspective. And that helps us. And then when we recognize Krishna's mercy, then we feel that, oh, now I should reciprocate with Krishna's mercy. And when we reciprocate, then Krishna gives more mercy. And this is how we increase. So thank you, Jagadish Sima Prabhu. There's some thoughts. I hope that's helpful.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhu. Madhupati Prabhu, please correct me.
Thank you, Maharaj, for this wonderful class, wonderful narration of Lord Nityananda's pastimes. I was thinking about Srila Prabhupada mentioning that we cannot get the mercy of Radha Krishna without getting the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. We cannot get the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu without getting the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And one place he also mentioned that the 2 most important festivals in ISKCON is Gaur Purnima and Nityananda Trayodasi. So, since Nityananda Trayodasi is coming nearby, how do we celebrate it to emphasize this most significant point which Srila Prabhupada mentioned? Because it's difficult for us to comprehend, it's not Gaur Purnima and Janmashtami, but it's Gaur Purnima and Nityananda Trayodasi.
Yeah. Yes, thank you so much for this point. Gauranga is our hope. Nityananda is giving us access to Gauranga. I think on Nityananda Trayodasi, I usually have 2 main meditations. And I'll just share this with you. This is not definitive. It's just my approach. On Nityananda Trayodasi, I think for me, it's always a very big meditation on spiritual master because Nityananda is Adi Guru.
Yeah.
And that means Diksha Guru, naturally. That also naturally means Srila Prabhupada, who is our preeminent Shiksha Guru. And it also means all the other Vaishnavas in our lives. And what I often do on Nityananda Trayodasi is I deeply try to think about all of the different instructions that they gave. And I try to assess in my life, how much did I become serious to follow all of those things? And so on that day, I think it's a very beautiful day to meditate on the instructions. Because like I mentioned, Nityananda's instructions guided Narottam to Prema Tali. Nityananda's instructions guided Krishna Das to Radha Kund, and Nityananda's instructions guided Raghunath to Jagannath Puri. So the instructions are almost like paving the way to the spiritual world. So that's one thing. And I think the other thing I usually pray for deeply on Nityananda Triyodashi is this magnanimity of Nityananda, because Nityananda Prabhu is representing a certain type of kindness, a certain type of generosity, a certain type of never losing hope on anyone, such an open heart. And I feel in my life, definitely for me, that, sometimes we can be very miserly, or we can be a little closed or critical or negative. And I always pray to Nityananda Prabhu that let me please open my heart so I can be generous, kind, positive, always encouraging. I think in our movement, if these qualities are coming about, it really grows our communities. So Nityananda Prabhu, I feel, is like the emblem of this. So these are two meditations. I'm sure there are many more. Thank you, Madhupati Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
So,
wonderful.
Yes, I think now our time is up, is it, Krishna Ramananda Prabhu? Or?
We can take, if anyone else has questions. I was thinking to request you to sing Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dayakara Muri, or another song for a few minutes. We end with Kirtan. Prabhupada liked it many times.
Okay.
That will be nice. I was thinking, but Madhupati Prabhu, go ahead.
Does Govindanandani Mataji have a question? I think. Oh, okay, that's all. Okay. Yeah, please, Maharaj.
Yeah. So shall we sing this song?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I can share the words on my screen, and then everyone can.
Yes, Maharaj.
I'm sure everyone knows the words, but just it's nice to have the translation in front of us. So give me 1 second. I'm just coming to you. Okay, so I'll just sing. I guess because it's difficult to do response, I'll just sing, and everyone can sing behind their muted mic. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More. Tuma vina ke dayalu jagata samsare. Tuma vina ke dayalu jagata samsare. Patita pavana tu Tavayavatara Patita Pavana tu Tavayavatara Osamapatita Prabhu Napaibe Ara Osamapatita Prabhu Napaibe Ara Aha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Aha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa balo kana koro ami baro dukhi. Kripa balo kana koro ami baro dukhi. Daya koro sitapati Advaita Gosai Doya Kora Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nita Tava Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nita Aha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Aha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Bhatta Yuga Shri Jiva Prabhu Lokanatha Bhatta Yuga Shri Jiva Prabhu Lokanatha Doya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Doya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Ramachandra Sangamage Naratamadaasa Ramachandra Sangamage Naratamadaasa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Shri Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu's ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai
Jai, Jai.
Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari
Hari
Bol. Thank you everyone for your association. Thank you to Krishna Namananda Prabhu for the kind invitation.
Thank you.
And
We
really,
like to
really
invite you
happy.
in person, Maharaj.
Yeah,
We hope to
let's
see you
see
in
if
person.
Krishna allows. The plan is to come to America later in the year. So I hope to visit all of you and see you. That will be my great fortune. So we'll keep in touch.
Thank you very
Sure,
much.
Maharaj, our hearts and homes are open. Please come and stay with us. Thank you.
So much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so
Jai.
Jai.
We'll have quick announcements. Tuesday is Ekadasi. And today, obviously, please join for Sunday Feast program from 5:30 to 8:30. Govindas is on govindasnj.com. Please place your orders. Tuesday is Ekadasi, Baimi Ekadasi, I believe. Fasting till noon completely because it's Varaha Dwadasi next day. So that's why Tuesday till 12 o'clock complete fasting. And then you can take Ekadasi Prasad if you like. Wednesday is Varaha Dwadasi, no fasting. You're supposed to break your parana in the morning and a very short period, I think 10:15 to 10:29 or something. So you have to plan accordingly, otherwise you're going to miss, which is a great offense if you're going to miss. So please plan carefully. Thursday is Lord Nityananda Trayodasi, which is the most prominent, significant in our lives. So please plan to be there, 6:30 to 9 or so program. We'll post the details. Kirtan, Katha, Prasadam. I think cooking will start. Jayaprakash Prabhu, what time? 1 o'clock? 2 o'clock? Sometime in the afternoon we'll start. We'll let you know.
At 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. So you can help in the cooking service if you are available. But anything you do, almost you get hundreds of times benefit on these specific festivals, especially Nityananda Trayodasi, Purnima, Janmashtami, Balaram, all these very, very important days. So try to pick up whatever service you can do. So that will help in your progress also. You can bring various items for Nityananda Trayodasi. Nityananda Prabhu likes, as Mahaprabhu likes, various types of sak, various types of Bengali items. So you can bring groceries day before, so that we can use the service of Lord Nityananda Prabhu all the way from Mangalarti to evening. We can offer various items, so many types of items, fruits, nuts, milk cakes and whatnot. So many types of vegetables we can offer for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, especially. Because Srila Prabhupada himself liked those items, he himself cooked many times, hundreds of items. So let us try to please Srila Prabhupada on this appearance day. Pray that we all together, cooperatively, collectively, blissfully engage in Kirtan, join for Kirtan first, and then we hear, then we take prasad. This is the etiquette, this is the process by which we can purify ourselves and submerge in the bliss of Nityananda Katha. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Radhe
Hare Krishna.
Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo
Krishna Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Hari Bol.